This program was made possible in part by the Pennsylvania Public Television Network, which receives funding from the Commonwealth to provide public television programs and services for all Pennsylvanians.
This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Okay, let's say you're out for a drive. Maybe you're heading somewhere. Maybe you're just enjoying being out on the road. Let's say you're somewhere in the state of Pennsylvania and you're getting a little hungry. We all know what that's like. You don't really feel like stopping at a fast food joint. You know what would be ideal? A diner. There are diners all over Pennsylvania. Not always near the interstates, but diners are good places to go if you want to find a little local flavor as well as some decent grub. You know, it's dangerous to make any generalizations about diners. Some are covered inside and out in stainless steel. Some are not. We followed no rules. We kept our eyes and ears open for signs and suggestions. We wanted to taste everything, but usually ordered the special. This state has a great variety of diners, and there's even one Pennsylvania diner that has taken a place forever in cinematic history. Our only regret is that we couldn't squeeze every diner in the state into this program. We were going to call this show just Pennsylvania Diners, but then decided to add the line and other roadside restaurants because we had an inexplicable urge to include a few places like The Cup in Pottstown and Potato City that aren't really diners at all, just other places to stop, meet some people, and get something to eat along the road. That's what this is all about. So let's start up north in Tioga County, near the Grand Canyon of Pennsylvania. In the town of Wellsboro, at the corner of Main and Queen Street, you'll find one of the most beautiful old diners anywhere, the Wellsboro Diner. It's made of what's called porcelain enamel. Dorotha Cummings, everyone calls her Dort, and her husband Roy are the third owners of this place that's been here since it left the factory.
It was put here in 1939. It's a Sterling diner made of porcelain inside and out, manufactured in Merrimack, Massachusetts, car number 388.
Although some people think diners are old railroad or trolley cars, most diners are not. Actually, diners are usually small, prefabricated restaurants that were built in a factory somewhere and then moved to a specific location. The Wellsboro is unusual in that it's old and still in such excellent condition. There are lots of local regulars. It's one of those places where everybody seems to know everybody.
Good, how are you doing? Good, good, good.
And of course, there's the food.
Oh, all of our food is good. It's the best.
That's the best.
In pie, we have pumpkin, blueberry, cherry, apple, mint, rhubarb, raisin.
One of the other unusual things here is that part of the counter is a glass-topped case where Dort displays pieces of pie.
It's different because it is all glass and you sit at the counter and eat right on the top of them.
All the good homemade pies, huh? I'm a coconut cream myself. That is my favorite.
I like them all.
The curved porcelain ceiling is really neat, too. It shines.
We wash the ceiling once a year, which isn't very hard. We can do it in about 2-3 hours. Just wash it with a good detergent and wipe it dry like you would a mirror.
Okay, how we doing tonight, sir? Okay, how's Pop's doing? Pretty good?
Pop better when we get the hearing aid fixed.
We got to get his hearing aid fixed. So Pop rolling right along there, huh?
24 hours back when it was first put here, back in 39. But by 8 o'clock it drops off, always has, and that's when we close the door. There's some days I love it, some days I don't, you know.
But most of the time, it's real good.
Pretty tired sometimes, and you think, you know, but then you get up in the morning, it's all forgotten, and another day, and all the smiling faces come in, and you have fun again.
Diners can be fun, and if you're in the Poconos, say in Carbon County, you ought to stop in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. It's a beautiful little town that seems remarkably unchanged from its heyday in Victorian times. Annette Andrews manages the diner in Jim Thorpe. It's a humdinger of an old stainless steel model, moved here in the early 1950s. It used to be called Steve's Diner, but now it's known as the Sunrise. Annette is often behind the counter at the grill.
I have quite a few regular customers. I get a lot of lawyers, because we're located right next to the courthouse. A lot of courthouse trade. I get people calling me on the phone from the courthouse. This one woman, so what day this week are you making corn chowder? And she's there that day. I make corn chowder. In the summer, you can't get in the place. There's lines to get in the place because of the tourist trade. I had people in here the other day that were just simply amazed that the place was still standing, you know, as it's the original way it came, you know, with the jukebox and with all the stainless steel and that. You know, they were like on happy days or something. You know, they really enjoyed it.
The Sunrise was built by the Jerry O. Mahoney Company of Bayonne, New Jersey. Serious diner buffs always like to know which company manufactured the diner. Most of the companies were in New Jersey. When you start to pay attention to diners, you find out that these stainless steel ones are typically from the 1940s and 50s, the era that some people call the golden age of the diner. But how did diners get started? In the late 19th century, lunch wagons, like this tiny one in Gettysburg, were the forerunners of diners. Someone stood inside and sold food through the windows. Historians trace the early development of diners to New England, where lunch wagons on wheels often parked near factories where it paid to stay open all night. Eventually, the wagons got big enough to allow customers to step inside. Some wagons started finding permanent parking spaces, and some started hiding their wheels. The little mobile restaurants tried to be like popular dining cars on trains, and people started calling the wagons diners. Diner manufacturers made cars of various materials in different sizes and styles. In the 1940s, streamlined design was popular, and you find places like this Penn State Flyer diner that used to be between Allentown and Bethlehem. Today, some great old diners are just hidden beneath more modern exteriors. Back in Carbon County, not far from Jim Thorpe, in Bowmanstown, there's a diner just off Route 248. From a distance, it looks like a pretty modern restaurant, but up close, peeking through the facade, you can see some diner. Rich Wenner is one of the owners of this place, and as far as he's concerned, it's everything that the word diner stands for.
To me, it just means good food. Good food and stainless.
The inside of the older part of this place is classic diner. Counter, stools, plenty of stainless, busy waitresses, a line of people waiting to get in.
It's always like that every day, you know. It seems hectic to me. Like on a Friday night, it's crazy in here. But between takeouts and people, you know, fighting for booze, it's like I'm a referee more than a host or anything else.
Although the waitresses make some things up front, like these Sundays, most of the cooking here is done behind the swinging stainless door. Rich's partner, Mike Anaskevich, the cook, is in charge back here.
There's never nothing called a 40-hour week, though. It's always 60 or more.
You don't want to get in the way here, because this kitchen can be a madhouse.
We're known for our hot beef sandwiches and for our crab patties, our homemade crab patties. We have them broiled and fried. Hot roast beef sandwiches with French fries with gravy. That's our specialty. Before I owned it, my father owned it. He had it for about 7 years. Before that, his father-in-law had it. He had it about 30-some years. And I love it. It's a good business. We're open 24 hours, so it keeps you hopping.
Oh, sorry. This door is heavy. Well, let's keep hopping and head toward Harrisburg, to the west bank of the Susquehanna, Cumberland County, the town of Lemoyne, where George and Chris Katsifis run the West Shore Diner. It's not stainless, it's an older diner, and the Katsifis brothers know some of its history.
Well, we know it was moved several times. It was up the street and they moved it all one piece. Diner, kitchen, and dining room all one piece, and that must have been something to see. There's a couple tags out there, Silk City Diner, so we believe that's the outfit that made that.
Your steak, well, medium,
And it must have been, the place looks kind of old, so it must have been a long time ago that it was built.
The place looks kind of bigger than it really is, too, because the wide-angle lens on our camera distorts these tiny diners. The West Shore is really cozy. It has a new modern dining room off to the one side, but it's really the front part, the counter and the stools and booths, that's most striking here. Colorful and tasty, according to George and Chris, who know how to describe the food here.
Good and cheap.
A reasonable price, good service, good food at a reasonable price. If you can keep the people happy, I guess that's what it takes, It's got to be good.
Over here, we do a lot of working people. Those guys, if they don't want to go somewhere, it's going to cost them, a lot of money to eat a week. So they figure, instead of them going somewhere else, they come here and eat for the price all day than they would somewhere else for one meal. I think that's why a lot of those guys come in, like I say, a couple times a day.
Well, that place, it's home cooked. It's not processed like a chain type food. It's home cooked meals, and I guess that's why diners have been around for a very long time, and they'll probably keep being.